Hey people, Tef here, and we are jumping back into the world of Psycholonials once again without an intro video, not intro video, but without my normal intro. And we drop into Interlude 4. You love to see it. Finally taking the gloves off, I mean. It makes it more real now, like it's not a game anymore. Of course, it never was a game to begin with, it's always been serious shit, but the way some of these chuckle fucks like to run their mouths, you might never know it. Where did they think this was going to lead? Did they not understand that talking shit has consequences, that the supreme honk effects is not a woman with whom these sewer rats should trifle? Oh well, problem solved. That's the thing about having loud, shitty opinions online. Once you stop existing, your bad opinions stop mattering. Limvow. Like somebody once said, when there's a person, there's a problem. When there's no person, there's no problem. So it stands to reason when lots of people disappear, a whole lot of problems go away, right? You fucking bet. Okay, should we do the fake choice thing again? It's what you've come to expect from me, after all. And just like you, I hate letting my fans down. Almost as much as I hate letting my aunties off the hook. So what are the possibilities at this juncture? Not that it fucking matters, cause you know I'm just gonna lock the thing again, but let's agree to humor each other once more time. Good one, hussy. Good job. Wait, on second thought. Call of the hater purge you just ordered. Wait, on second thought, call off the hater purge you just ordered like a weak bitch. Boo hoo hoo, innocent people will die. Just forget you ever dreamt you were any sort of hard ass and go crying back to mommy in her grave like a scared little piss baby. I'm sure the world will understand. Or, you could embrace your destiny. Realize, like so many other great conquerors before you, that this is simply what it takes. Spare those worms, not a single precious thought beyond the moment you gave that order. Well, we're gonna, lock it. Yeah, we all know the drill now. Meaningful choices in this story can only be unlocked by a true successor, and that's still not you. Not quite yet. You're so damn close, though. It's like Riotous was just saying. You're really speedrunning this shit. Running so fast, almost seems like you're outrunning your own destiny to stop, think, and make real decisions. Maybe once you figure out how to do that, it'll all finally click. The missing piece will fall into place, and that successor status which you've fallen just short of for so long, it'll finally be yours, won't it? Lol, I just gave the whole fucking thing away, didn't I, Lamau? Whatever. See you again soon, Zen. Or Jen. So, Jen. Oh. So I guess the intention is that Jen is not the true successor. Grinch Heart. Chapter 8. I can't wait to see what this whole true successor thing is. Alright, 1 month later. The brand hasn't been doing too badly these days. In fact, it would be hard to imagine how it could be doing any better, considering your account now has more followers than any other account in the world, short of Instagram itself. But even then, with Instagram sitting at 358 million, you aren't too far behind passing that milestone either. And you don't see much standing in your way of that feat, seeing as you recently made short work of other names you once thought untouchable. It was 35 days ago you dealt with Jacqueline and ordered the Great Summer Purge of 2020, later that night. While your covert ops people all over the world were quietly mowing down the haters and the antis, your brand was busy zipping past the top accounts. In the final week of July, it was Kim Kardashian and Selena Gomez and Kylie Jenner. Three queens who three queens who you're quite sure would never bother to bat an eye at a pest like you. How quickly they've been reduced to relative obscurity and poverty compared to you. You doubt you'll even answer a text message from any one of them at this point. Days later, you topple actor and professional wrestler Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, followed shortly by a musician and actress named Ariana Grande. Impressive milestones to pass for sure. But by then, you weren't even paying attention to them. Your eyes were squarely locked on the number one spot, held by legendary footballer Cristiano Ronaldo. You had never heard of him since you know nothing of soccer, but he's a good-looking guy, and you made sure to blow him a kiss as you passed him. None of this is personal, unless they make it personal, in which case you have ways of dealing with that. And then you mostly checked out of observing the rise, letting almost another 100 million followers pile on top of that. The feeding frenzy fueling your brand is practically on autopilot now and is undeniably political. Everyone in the world wants to keep an eye on the clown girl who somehow has her boot on the face of a hapless, disease-stricken, failed state known as America. But you're still somewhat taken aback by the continued success of your account, considering you don't post nearly as much content as you used to. It was once the most critical priority, pushing that content out every day. It was the sole driver of the numbers, whereas now the movement is, along with the geopolitical complexity resulting from your every move. Just as well. Producing a broad range of engaging social media content is a chore you really don't need, since you've got a rogue state to run. Rather than carefully planning shoots and crafting the perfect aesthetic as you once did, you've mostly been getting by posing near all your sick and very expensive contraband. Fortunately, your subscribers seem more than appeased by these offerings. Speaking of geopolitical complexity, while a cold civil war has been simmering under the surface of daily American life since your treaty brought open hostilities to a relative standstill, there has been no such peace in many nations around the world. The Jubilite craze transcends culture and language barriers, and some countries have gone crazier with it than others. The media are as most abuzz with the events of last week, which saw the fall of the Russian government. Jubilites ransacked the Kremlin and now have full control over the military. This was surprising to you. A Russian coup somehow wasn't on your radar at all, but you guess it wasn't too out of character for the nation. It was about 100 years ago these people did roughly the same thing after all. Maybe the instinct for leftist revolution passed on by their ancestors was activated by your radical clown messaging. Maybe it was in their blood all along, and that's why their shitty regime was the first to fall. But many other countries don't seem far behind, and appear to be on the brink of collapse too as the rowdy Jubilite factions continue to swell. If America is to share the same fate, it won't happen like it just did in Russia. America's brand of imperialism and capitalism was built to take a beating, designed to bring the whole world down with it if it's ever truly threatened. So however you play this, you'll need to tread very carefully. You'll need to prepare a good strategy, especially since, if anything goes wrong, the backlash will be felt first and most fiercely by your tiny summer colony. In short, you'll need to prepare for war. So preparing for war is exactly what you've been doing this month. You have fully militarized the former island of Nantucket. With your advanced Praxis method still in full effect even without Jocelyn's oversight, the state of New Whimsifay has amassed nearly $1 trillion in hard assets and several trillion more in soft assets. The tabulation of these resources has never been an exact science, but then economists probably run into similar difficulties assessing the true extent of an entire nation's economic value. And that roughly describes the nature of your global movement now. It's a nation rivaling the GNI of many industrialized countries, with its population and assets spread out across every country in the world. And that's pretty cool, you think? But that doesn't mean you're getting complacent. You have no intention of letting these assets go to waste. Counted among your hard assets are many tangible acquisitions, including caches of weapons, vehicles, fuel, all the supplies of war, and many other staples of societal self-sufficiency, stashed in every nation you could name. all conceivable contraband necessary for a burgeoning global paramilitary organization, and then some. Much of this equipment has ended up on your island. You've established relationships with military contracting companies, which once viewed you with great suspicion due to your adversarial nature with their richest client, the US government. But recently they've become exponentially easier to do business with. You're discovering their allegiance turns out to be quite fungible. Yeah, when the executives start smelling money, or even more intoxicatingly, a sea change in the entire world order. It's nothing you'll ever see covered in the media, but the moment Russia was seized by Jubilites, virtually the entire global economic order went into motion behind the scenes, beginning to rearrange itself to hedge all the bets. No one really knows who will come out on top of all this, and strangely, most of these people barely even care. So, what we're basically seeing here is Zanzibar land, but taken to an extreme. Except without a nuke. They just don't want to be left holding the bag if they didn't bet on the winner. They all remind you of Abby's dad, who found new religion through Biden once his money started feeling sad. Plutocrats, oligarchs, financiers, and war profiteers are always unknowingly eager to find new rings to kiss. And the newer and shinier the ring is, the faster they run to kiss it. You've just discovered another echelon of simps. It's simps all the way up society's ladder, and the higher they climb, the harder they simp. And so the transactions began to flow. A few fighter jets here, some anti-aircraft missiles there. Much of this war junk, to your surprise, actually came gratis. Friendly, appetizing loss leaders to grease the wheels, meant to establish a good business rapport with a young and stylish up-and-coming warlord. The only warlord in human history with an absolute fire insta. The outcome leaves you gobsmacked these days, but you have to admit, watching military companies tripping over themselves to give you billions of dollars worth of free shit is pretty high up on the list. On the home front, your inner circle has become considerably more insular and well-vetted. A new right hand has emerged, a loyal and quiet clown named Mizzlebib. She's been in Ring 3 from the very beginning, and her diligent, no-nonsense service has earned your trust. She's not a bad helicopter pilot either, considering she just started figuring it out this week after the new shipment of Apaches arrived. But even as paranoia makes your inner circle shrink, your revenge list grows. Since the night your purge was issued, your assassins have been working steadily, and the body count has grown steeper. Hello, Stalin. Abby, of course, wants nothing to do with this. Though she's retired from any formal position in the organization, she still hangs around the house, since she has nothing else to do and nowhere else to go. She just keeps herself distracted with her personal projects, which have been going about as well as anything else with the Jubilite craze lately. She's been working directly with the guy you'll never stop referring to as Rap Monster, even though that's not his name anymore. He and his bandmates have effectively taken control of South Korea and are currently in negotiations with the previous government over how to handle the full transition of power. Wow, okay. Unlike the raucous, wantonly clownish spectacle that took place in Russia recently, their revolution has been elegant and friendly, just like the boys themselves. The Korean government almost seems flattered that the boys offered to take over. Most of the country seems to be completely ecstatic about it. Inside, you find Abby in her usual spot, carved out of the hovel that has become her summer home's once posh living room. You observe that it looks much more similar to your old apartment's depression nest than it does to her parents' original interior decorating scheme. Empty bottles are everywhere. You'd be surprised if there was anything left in her previously decadent wine cellar. You shudder to think where some of these vintages came from. The Nantucket Stop and Shop? Yikes. She also seems to have taken to vaping weed and listening to loud music almost constantly. Whatever gets her through the days, you guess. Abby. Huh? Abby. Huh? Can you turn that down? I need to think about strategy. Yeah, sure. seems kind of early for you to be this wasted. Sorry, I just hardly have anything to do anymore. I can't be on social media. There's nothing to do in town except, like, hang out with crazy people who treat me weird because of my celebrity. Also, the whole island is a cesspit of coronavirus, and I don't want to be contributing to that scene. Yeah, that sure became a fucking problem, didn't it? But it's also a problem everywhere in this shitty country, so IDK, kind of an easy target to blame the anarchists of Clown Island for losing control of a disease that the most powerful nation on Earth lost control of months ago. Oh, believe me, I'm aware. That's why if I ever really wanted to leave this place, I'm not sure where I'd even go. America's hell, and I'm pretty sure I'm on the most wanted terror list by now. Well, what about Korea? Your boy Rat Monster could always grant you asylum. Doesn't he basically run that whole fucking country now? I think so. The political situation there is confusing. I think he's working out some sort of deal with the existing government. A treaty of some sort, kind of like what you did. Oh yeah, it sounds like he's well on his way to just being the de facto president. That's how these things go. With the support he has, I'm sure the old government will be vestigial in no time. Yeah, I have no idea. I haven't talked to him in a while. He's too busy, and I don't want to bug him. It's one thing for me to encourage a coup initially, but now that it has a life of its own, I don't actually know anything about politics. I can't help these guys anymore. At the end of the day, I'm just an overzealous fangirl who got carried away. So, that's a no-go on South Korean asylum? Damn. I guess I should cross it off my list too if the shit gets too hot. I don't know if it's a no. I don't know anything. Still feels completely insane to me. It still feels completely insane to me I was talking to them at all. I would feel presumptuous asking them to protect me from the full wrath of the American government. I guess there's always Fiji, huh? Or I guess there's always Fiji. Huh? That was my original getaway location, remember? Before I even came here. Oh yeah. Sounds fucking nice, actually. Yeah. I'm not even serious about leaving. I'd be scared to, I think. We're completely surrounded. What if the plane just got shot down? I guess that's possible. It's not like I want you to go either. With all due respect to Secretary Mizzlebip, to Secretary Mizzlebip here, who's been solid as fuck, you're still all I've got. I'd absolutely fucking lose it if you weren't here, and that probably wouldn't be good for anybody. No, it sure wouldn't. Just forget I said anything. I'll go back to my trash pile and keep vaping all this weed. Aw, come on. As long as you're here and you say you got nothing to do, why not hang out with us and help? I told you already, I'm useless politically. This is so far over my head now, it's all so insane and scary. There are too many dead people on the news all the time, and too much military-industrial stuff all over the island. I know how fucked up it all is, but saying you're useless is bullshit. You helped so much in the beginning. None of this would have been possible or would have happened without you. You are very smart and trustworthy and decent. The movement only suffers without your input. But you stopped listening to my input. I said how weird I felt about killing and stuff, and you just ended up putting hits on your entire insane list. Well, yeah, I was in a bad place that night. A bad place? How many people are dead now? Who even were those people? Hold on a second. Okay. A broad consortium of abject filth who had it coming, but the point is, I probably wouldn't have done it if you just stuck around and kept me in line with, like, your good sense and morals and whatever. Z, you can't put this on me. Please don't make me feel responsible for the good or bad things you do. That's why I pulled back, because it hurts too much to feel complicit in every fucked up turn this takes. Do you know what emotional abuse is? If you say you're going to hurt people unless I keep being involved and play the role of your conscience, that's what it is. Oh damn. Yeah, you're right, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have even said that it was fucked up. Okay, look. I haven't ordered a single hit since that night. Lamau, what a thing to say. Also, is it even true? I keep hearing about shit. Well, okay, it's mostly true. More people got added to the list, but not like antis or whatever. I mean like ghastly capitalist scumbags with real blood on their hands. Okay? Nothing like what happened that night, though. I was really off the deep end. Messed up about what my creepy stalker did to your crazy parents, or to your parents, and having crazy visions and shit. The only reason you keep hearing about stuff happening is because the guys keep working through the list. You know how they are, like a damn dog with a bone. Jesus, what? This conversation is ludicrous. This is why I backed off. Do you even know what you're saying anymore? Acting like a mass execution list you signed off on a month ago is just something out of your hands now, and your clowny death brigade will do whatever it's going to do. Things I have to read in the news, the Bezos hit, that was you, right? I mean, it was on the list, yeah. Why was he even on the list? Is this what we're really gonna do now, Abby? Shed some sad liberal tears for Jeff fucking Bezos? No, I don't give a shit about Jeff Bezos. He sucked. Exactly. So what's the problem? Do you realize that when he died, Amazon's stock price didn't even go down? It went up, actually. So he was just some stooge, a little weasel man who barely even mattered, a guy who had too much money, who thought he was important. Yeah, I'm not hearing an argument for why he should still be alive. I'm not even making an argument. I'm not sure what I'm trying to say. But maybe the point is, it sounds like there are times when you don't either. I don't know. I think the statement was pretty simple. The dude was evil, had too much money because he exploited all his workers, so now he's dead, which is good. Okay, and then what? Are those workers still being exploited? Oh, almost certainly. So what's next? How do you stop that? I'm working on it. This is all a very complicated process involving a campaign being waged on multiple fronts at once. You'd know this if you actually stayed in the loop instead of lying around stoned all day. And it's hard enough coordinating all this shit without your help, let alone when I have to contend with your liberal finger wagging. I'm not being liberal. This isn't some lib shit, like, think about poor Jeff, or this isn't some lib shit, like, think about poor Jeff Bezos nonsense. What the fuck do I even have to do to prove to you that I'm not Hillary fucking Clinton? I helped you steal my parents' money to fund your socialist clown movement, and then one of your backstabbing aunties blew up their house. I hid you from the cops for weeks while you launched your brand, and then I went along with it while you planned the execution of the entire police force. Then I supported you when you faked a terrorist incident to steal literally thousands of homes from the residents of this island. How much more do I have to do to show you I don't have any sympathies for the evil forces that we've been fighting this whole time? Can you understand that if I'm wondering where you're actually going with these insane purges of haters and rich people, it's not about some ideological reservation? It has more to do with the fact that I'm actually scared of this whole situation you put us in? Yeah, I get that. I was never even married to the idea of knocking off everybody on my shit list. I could just put it in the order to halt the operation. Is that what you want? No, because you're asking me again, which means you're implicating me in the decision-making process. You're outsourcing your conscience, which means I have the responsibility to stop you from doing bad shit, and I already told you I can't take the stress of that. I see. Maybe we should dial it down. We're yelling in front of Mizzlebip. She's very sensitive. I don't give a fuck about Mizzlebip. Wow. I'm sorry, Mizzlebip. You know what I mean. This has nothing to do with you. Okay, Mizzlebip's feelings notwithstanding, I think I see where you're coming from. You don't want to be like the angel on my shoulder or whatever. I already knew that. I was cool with you checking out. But it really sounds more like you're worried about what's going to happen to us because you don't think I have a coherent plan. Like I'm just offing guys for the hell of it and triggering the collapse of foreign governments, which kicks ass and all, but ultimately, I don't know where this is going. Is that it? Yeah, pretty much. Okay then. Help me with some plans. Get involved in these meetings so you can see I have a plan. That's what we were just going to do, see? Mizzlebip brought all these fucking maps. I could just walk you through the next play to help set your mind at ease. Okay, I'll listen to whatever it is you're planning next. So we got Martha's Vineyard over here, right? Recent developments lead me to believe the time... Man, it's kind of upsetting that... Yeah, Abby is still, like, kind of an insane socialist who was okay with a lot of really fucked up shit. And yet she's still kind of the voice of sanity, a voice of reason in this whole fucking scenario. Like, God, I hate that I have to empathize with Abby, considering she's not exactly been much better. So we got Martha's Vineyard over here, right? Recent developments lead me to believe the time is ripe for an invasion. Well, not invasion so much as annexation. Mobilizing our ships past the naval blockade and sending aircraft over there to formally invade MV would be real dicey. Turn our cold conflict into a hot one real too fast. For a couple months now, our guys have been laying the groundwork on that island in pretty much the same way they did here, but on a bigger scale. You know how it is there. It's just like you know how it is there. It's just like here. Thousands of empty summer homes that can be easily occupied. The infiltration has already been underway. I just have to send the signal and our guys take over the whole territory more officially. Like, raise our flag, crush the police, chase them all out. Then we put on some sick content online to formalize the annexation, show how successful it was and how easily the whole place fell. It's just as much about good propaganda as it is about expanding our territory, so we can show the government we can't be contained and pushed around that easily. We'll have a lot more leverage for the next phases of the operation. So, what do you think of the plan? Are you satisfied that I have an actual strategy yet? That I'm not just bullshitting my way through this? What? Oh my god. What's so funny? This is your plan? To invade Martha's fucking vineyard? Not invade, annex. I don't believe this. Bitch, don't laugh. This is serious. It's a serious plan. It's fucking ridiculous. We can barely run one island as it is. Thousands of people here are sick. We're surrounded by the fucking Navy. They could shut off the power and supply chains anytime, really, or just outright storm the island if they finally get fed up. You want another island to deal with? Why not? What about the fucking treaty? You signed a non-aggression pact, and it was a miracle the government even allowed that in the first place. Believe me, I haven't forgotten about that piece of shit treaty. It wasn't a miracle, it was just a lie. Something the government used to buy them some time while they figured out the best way to wipe us out while defusing the ticking time bomb all the mainland Jubilites represent. They have no intention of honoring the treaty in the long run. When has America ever bothered with that? So I'm just doing what I always do. The best defense, no, the only defense, is to always stay on offense. I'm preparing in advance for the moment they rip the treaty up. It will encourage Jubilites everywhere to stake more claim over the rest of the country if we can secure more territory for the homeland. Homeland? Z, you moved here 3 years ago. You know what I mean? It wasn't even the homeland of the people we just kicked out. Nantucket is a native word. If we start talking about things that way, aren't we just doing, like, the things we said were bad? I don't know. I think I'm losing the plot here. It's perfectly simple. Yes, American imperialism is evil, so we are taking a stand against it. And the only way to do that is to capture and repurpose territory in order to weaken America. And this must be done, even if we are not the original inhabitants of the land, because we have no choice. Otherwise, we'd have to sit back and say, go ahead, keep being evil, America, because we're all too much of a bunch of pussies to claim anything for ourselves. Get it? Yes, I do, but are you really telling me you don't see any humor or absurdity to the fact that you're in my living room with a bunch of fucking maps plotting an invasion or, excuse me, an annexation of Martha's fucking vineyard? A few months ago, you were struggling to wake up before 3 p.m. and cringe posting on TikTok. Yeah, well, I pulled my shit together, largely thanks to you, in case you forgot. And actually, no, I don't see anything that funny about my annexation plans. It's serious shit. I'm fighting for our lives here. Why are you having a sudden attack of self-awareness and calling all this funny? It's not funny. You don't have to contribute to our planning sessions if you don't want to, or if you don't want. But don't start treating me like a joke. I own fucking helicopters, bitch. The kinds with fucking missiles. I got like anti-aircraft jams all over this fucking island. I'm moving billions of dollars of deadly hardware around. Tanks and shit. Stop laughing. Nobody else in the world is laughing at me. They're all afraid of what I'm gonna do. And the ones who aren't are on pins and fucking needles anticipating my next move with zealous devotion. Fucking Russia fell, you silly bitch. You know who did that? Me. I did it. Do you have any idea how many nuclear weapons Russia has? Something like 7,000. I looked it up. Now I'm the one who controls those nukes. Do you actually, though? Yeah? Why wouldn't I? The sectarian Jubilite movement in Russia looks to me for leadership. I've talked to those guys. They love me over there. They're just like my American fans. It's a whole army of simps who would do anything I said. Okay, and have you actually put that to the test? I mean, not yet. I've been fucking busy here. What would I even tell them to do? That's a pretty good question. Seems like a question someone who is just bragging about assuming full control over Russia should be able to answer. I don't think you really get how this works. I'm the supreme hawk effects of a global movement. I need to be able to delegate, like let the Russian guys figure shit out over there because I don't really know how anything works there. But you were just saying you're the one who controls that country now and all their nukes. Seriously, what would you even plan on doing with those nukes? Like, nothing. That's what you're fucking supposed to do with them. Just let them sit there menacingly. It's about deterrence and shit. Didn't you play Metal Gear? Is that what that game was about? I thought it was just a super long yaoi series. Well, of course it is, but it's also about that. I'm not trying to mess with you here, I'm just trying to follow whatever your logic is. You control Russia and its nukes, but you won't use the nukes because obviously that's insane. So, what does controlling that country even mean? How are you using that to your advantage when you defend us from American aggression? Well, first of all, now if the US wants to attack us, it's almost like attacking Russia, right? They have to consider global retaliation possibilities, like any basic geopolitical alliance. Sure, but if you keep escalating with the US government, have you really thought about what that alliance means? There's a reason Russia and all its nukes never fucked with America, because if they tried, it would be a huge mess. Like World War III? Then the nukes might start going off, and if that happens, everybody loses. So it seems like all you're really doing here is creating situations that are increasingly elaborate stalemates? Yeah, I think you've just fucking described the basic objective of international politics throughout all of world history. I still don't know what your point is. You also seem to be taking it as a given that the coups in Russia and whatever else are resulting in stable situations. Are you even sure about that? Now that you have a bunch of loyal clowns occupying the Kremlin or whatever, do you have any idea what sort of government they're going to establish? Yeah? A better one? Is there a president? Do they have a parliament or something? Is there a constitution? Yeah, the Jubilate Manifesto. Your manifesto doesn't even say anything about running a country. It's mostly a bunch of absurd clown lore that came from your dreams, a lot of esoteric gender theory, half of which we both pulled out of our ass one day, and a detailed manual on how to prank rich people out of their money. There's nothing at all about governance, or how to actually apply our socialist ideas in the form of a coherent state that emerges from the vacuum after all these revolutions you're causing. Did you even think about any of this? Of course I didn't, because my fucking clown manifesto wasn't supposed to make me accidentally take over the world. It was just some preposterous shit I wrote for fun, and also possibly because I'm super fucked up and have brain problems. And one thing led to another, so all I could ever do was focus on survival. I haven't even had the time to think about what the best way to manage society would be. The forces we're fighting won't even give us time to think about it. I feel like I can't even breathe. The stuff we're up against is suffocating, so all I can do is put my full attention on trying to defeat them. Once we've achieved total victory, there will be plenty of time to sort out how to run governments and shit. But all that is happening now? Other collapsing countries literally need those answers right now, or fucking what? You're still laughing. Why are you laughing at me? I'm sorry, I can't help it. I think I had too much weed and lol, the situation is just, I can't even handle this fucking conversation. To think the fate of the world hangs in the balance of whatever the fuck it is we're doing here. stop laughing at me. That's so fucking uncool. Okay, maybe I don't have a perfect post-revolution plan, but so fucking what? That doesn't take anything away from what I've accomplished here. I've fucked around a bit this summer and practically brought the whole world to its knees. Do you have any idea how shitty this country was? How bad life for people who don't have billionaire parents? Have you even grasped yet how this pandemic exposed we were already living in a failed state? Who the fuck was doing anything about it? Obama? His rapey sidekick grandpa? Your K-pop boys? Nobody was. I'm the one who had to kick this shit out of this country. I'm the one who lit a fire under everyone's ass to rip our capitalist nightmare state apart, while all the other weaklings were content to wait around for a useless election to solve their problems. And now you of all people who helped me do all this have the audacity to laugh at me? Like I'm some shitty child throwing a tantrum? Well, fuck this. So what if I'm throwing a tantrum? Fuck these maps. Fuck Martha's Vineyard. You're fucking right. I don't need a plan of fucking annexation. When I want Martha's fucking Vineyard, I'll snap my fingers and Martha's Vineyard will be fucking mine. Do you even know who you're dealing with? Does anybody fucking know yet? I am Z. I am the successor to Riot as Lord Queen of the Jubilites. I am conquering this pathetic planet 100 times faster than even he managed to. And you want to know the funny thing, dear Abigail? It wasn't even hard. Raw. Sorry, I just wasn't gonna fucking let out a roar. Z, I'm sorry for laughing at you. You're right. There's no point in asking all these questions now. I should have brought this up a lot earlier. Back when we could have made better plans for the aftermath of all this. I was just as caught up in it as you were. It was fun, Z. The most fun I've ever had with anyone. I didn't want to ruin it with stuff like moral confrontations or whatever. I think mostly I was doing it because... did it because I just wanted you to like me. Poor Mizzlebip. You hear a distant explosion somewhere. Yeah, you know, it's funny. I think this is kind of... I think that, oh, man. I'm always anxious about, like, trying to make some kind of political commentary about it, or connecting everything that's going on with actual socialist uprisings that happened, but basically, I think that, that may very well, this may very well just be indicative of how socialism ends up. Like, there isn't really a plan very much on how to run the government within socialism and Marxism. I mean, they're probably... I'm not gonna say that I've, like, read Marx's books or anything, but I'm pretty sure most of it revolves around economics and the redistribution of property and doesn't really touch up on anything on how to govern. And I think that ends up being why so many socialist and Marxist and communist governments end up failing, is because the ideology just leaves the whole governing thing up to interpretation. At least I'm pretty sure it does. Don't fucking quote me on that. It just seems like that's a common theme. So, you know, I'm seeing this, and all I'm thinking is, yeah, that seems par for the course. Oh shit, the power's out. Mizzlebip, check if the blackout is only here or the whole island. It's better not be what I fucking think it is. She indicates her phone isn't getting any internet service. Fuck. What's happening? They might be making their move. If that's what's going on, then they're going for it a lot sooner than I thought they would. Who? Who do you think? The fucking government. We gotta switch to our satellite internet backup system. Need to figure out what's happening to the rest of the island. Mizzlebip, come give me a hat. Well, that's an explosion. Yep. What the fuck is happening? I don't know. A group of hostile Jubilites appear to be the aggressors here. A pack of familiar clowns you haven't seen in a while, not since tightening up your inner circle. Your guards spring into action, defending the compound. Ah, so a subgroup of Jubilites are attacking. People who, I don't know, maybe Jubilites who aren't socialists or something? Basically, they're just not okay with the leadership. Interesting. Abby, get somewhere safe. Safe? Where? Head to the basement. I'll take care of this. Get the fuck off me. That's a lot of guns. I don't know. Good luck walking with all that gear. Like, damn. I'm liking the song. That's, there's hints of flair. have been a real interesting and good twist if Z just died right there. Just boom. Ah, well, chapter 9 is going to be interesting. Well. Who put you up to this? You're screaming. It's Abby. Sounds like it's coming from outside the house. Oh God, you hope she's not heard. Abby! Thank God you're okay. Oh God. You horse. Abby, I'm so... Please. I can't. Just stay back. You can't do this, Z. You have to stop pulling me back in. Can't you see this is ruining me? I'm losing everything. My parents, my house, my poor horse. I think I even lost you. You're still here, but you're not. I lost the person you used to be to this insanity. Now I have to go. What? Where? No, please don't, Abby. I'm leaving the island. Right now, I just have to go. I'll take a jet to South Korea. I don't even care if they'll grant me asylum. My heart can't take another second of this. Abby. Goodbye, Z. Run. Go, Abby. Get the fuck out. I'm sorry, David. I failed you. I failed Abby. I failed everyone on this island. Everyone in the world. So sad. Can't take this. I should probably just go with her, shouldn't I? Who did this to you? Who did all of this? It was a fucking mutiny. But how did this start? Who's the rat? Mizzlebip informs you she found this on the body of one of the mutinous clowns. She meekly asks if you could have, or if you have any idea what it could mean. Never mind. I'm not going anywhere. Later, the sun has gone down, and Abby's house is all but lost to the fire, but not before you and Mizzlebip rescued some needed equipment and retreated to the horse barn. You've hooked the satellite internet dish and router up to a portable power source. Mizzlebip offered her phone's backup battery, which still had enough juice to power the setup for a while. This allowed you to spend some time catching up online with what just happened. You communicate with others on the island who've rigged similar setups. It's as you thought. The government blew the underwater lines that power everything here. They detonated the bombs on this side of the water, which means there could be any number of operatives deployed, not just the ones you and Mizzlebip just took out. You find it utterly contemptible. The CIA, they're up to their old shit, embedding agents in enemy countries, engaging in subversive activity, trying to topple governments from within. You should have known this would be the play. You just didn't think they'd be this blatantly aggressive this soon. They're breaking the treaty a lot earlier than you thought they would. Well, that's a decision that will come with a steep price. You scrap all your plans, everything about the carefully plotted annexation of Martha's Vineyard, all your patient long game stuff, every bit of it is going in the garbage. You're about to start winging it. During this entire campaign, you've always felt at your most powerful when you're improvising, when your survival instincts are kicking in. That's when your enemies have always had the most fear, and tonight will be no exception. You begin relaying messages to everyone on the island who has a connection. You tell them to get the word out wherever they can that she's going to address everyone in person. You target the local high school, which has been vacant for months. You notice on the map it has a football field with bleachers. This should be perfect. By habit, you open your ongoing text message with Ring 3, but quickly close it. No use texting a bunch of dead clowns, half of which turned out to be traitors. You work your way further down the chain of command and give everyone the message to spread. Meet at the field at midnight. Light it up with whatever they've got, headlights and bonfires. Mizzlebit will stream what you say via satellite. You will speak to your people when they need you most. You will speak to your entire world. Or the entire world. Midnight. Your eyes scan the dark landscape for the high school. It's not hard to spot it all from a great distance. Looks like they got the message. The field is full of clowns, fervently anticipating the arrival of their supreme honk effects. Even from 1,000 feet above, you can tell the atmosphere is electric. Little is more important than the skillful implementation of theatrics, as this nation is about to be rudely reminded. The United States of America has begun its siege against us. They cut the power, shrouding this island in darkness. But does this football field look dark to you? You brought your own fire to the field, flooded the pitch with your high beams, and I can see you. I can see all of you. So can the world. That person is a dog. Alright. They actually believe this will work. They believe we will cower. They believe we will whimper, then snap at each other like dogs and fight amongst ourselves. That our resolve will deteriorate, that we will tuck our tails and run the moment we lose electricity. The moment we can't check our phones all day, the moment we were forced to log off. That is how much they think of us. That is what they think we're made of. That the moment we wonder about the future of our ability to eat, the moment we fear the walls will close in and their troops will storm our shores, they think our fear will cause our members to peel off, scatter and disband, while the rest of us watch our depleting ranks get back off their boats and fuck off back home. But they forgot to take one thing into consideration. This is our home now. They believe we are afraid, but I'm standing in front of you all for the first time, and I don't see any fear here, I see only determination. Don't you understand how much they tip their hands? When they show how much they think we will fear them, it is for one reason only. It's because they are the ones who are afraid. They project their fear of us, that what we stand for, onto us. Because they see their own fear in us, they presume we will shatter under the very kind of pressure that they know would shatter them. You hear how they talk about us in corporate media? You see the stories, the contemptuous tone, the fucking finger wagging. They look at our gatherings from their aerial footage, spying on us from the safety of their studios, insulated by their enormous salaries, and they judge, and they scold. They say, look at these fools. Shouldn't they be sheltering in place like the rest of the country? Shouldn't they be getting ready to vote in another hollow election? Shouldn't they just be going home and restoring the country to the very sense of order and comfort that that was fucking lost? The order and comfort that never even fucking existed? But look at our situation. What choice do we have but to gather together when faced with our own annihilation? How convenient it is for rich media personalities and political hacks to sit there in hypocritical reprimand, telling us we need to stay apart, or when their own genocidal response to this pandemic has shown us all how badly the vermin who hold power need to be overthrown. There's this lame fucking landmark in America, a place kids go on field trips to see, pretty close to where I grew up. It's called Plymouth Rock. I remember when I went to see it, what I felt. I thought, that's it? It's fucking tiny. You picture the Rock of Gibraltar or whatever. Thing's only like 6 feet wide. It's a pitiful little pellet, and that's exactly what it reminded me of. Like a fucking BB. A sad little iron ball like something a rabbit would shit out, shoved into an antique musket and fired across the Atlantic Ocean. It embedded itself in the flesh of this land long ago, making a faint pockmark that could have healed quickly, but there was one problem. This pellet was laced with poison. Wow. It seeped through the veins of this land gradually, east to west, surging up and down through the vast arteries like the Mississippi. If we put rot in this soil and we were born on it, forced to walk it and pretend the land under our feet isn't in agony from the atrocities wrought by this poison. That's all I could think. When I was a kid on my field trip to that little rock, I kept asking myself, why was this ever enshrined? But today, finally, it makes sense to me. Its enshrinement is a glaring acknowledgement of the shallow moral basis for the so-called American experiment. The size of that shitty little pebble symbolizes the moral strength of this nation's settlement and subsequent conquest. Celebrating that rock is almost like an American in-joke, and the punchline is that there's no moral basis for the establishment of this nation at all. The foundation on which America was built is diseased, rotten, and the absolute brink of societal collapse is where this fool's errand got us. I see that little pebble and I see a fucking Grinch heart, and no matter how much Rouville sings, I promise you, this is one heart that'll never grow even 1 inch bigger. So fuck that pitiful rock, but this whole island, this is our fucking rock. It's 1 billion times bigger, stronger, and rooted deep in the ocean. It's not fucking going anywhere, and neither are we. The revolution we begin today has orders of magnitude more clarity and righteousness than whatever the fuck was on the minds of those raggedy, murderous settlers who washed up on these shores so long ago. So I want to make something fucking clear to whoever's listening out there. In no uncertain terms, I am now declaring it is our intention to completely and utterly destroy the United States government. We will replace this vile, corrupt, imperialistic farce known as American democracy and replace it with a mode of government that is not intrinsically predicated on centuries of terror and genocide, and one that instead meets every need of its people without excuse or compromise. What has this nation really given you? What do you have to show for your unconditional allegiance? Your patience, your sense of duty, your votes, and your good faith, all of it is rewarded by what exactly? A choice between 2 demented, corrupt, babbling, elderly rapists? Your lifetime of devotion has earned you the honor of existing in the one nation on earth which is far and away the worst conceivable response to a global disease which may as well be an advanced version of the fucking flu. I mean, I don't know about that, man. These liars, frauds, con men, and charlatans who fill the ranks of the media, corporations, political parties, and government, these are the bastard weaklings who you would continue to simp for? Enough. Give up on this failed state once and for all and join us as we rise up. To all in the government who would try to suffocate us on this island, who fear me, who want nothing more than to crush all of us here and be done with it, know this. Not a single soul on this island is who you have to worry about anymore. Who you must worry about now is everyone else in this fucking country. We are everywhere. We are pissed. We are resolute, and we will fucking destroy you. We will burn the apparatus which keeps all of you rich and powerful. We will cast those ashes into the sea, and we will rest at nothing until we have completed our mission. Jubilites of America, Jubilites of the world, make yourselves seen, make yourselves heard. This is a war I may have started, but tonight I am trusting all of you to finish it. Oh, and she goes for a mic drop. Wow, how passé. Boy, sure am looking forward to seeing how this pans out. The art's great, though. Like, that was a lot of really good stylization. All the palette swaps and details and shit. It's pretty good. You've put enough distance between yourself and the football field revelry that you suddenly notice the silence. It's a disturbing silence, a loud one, like the one you noticed that fateful night 4 months ago, the noise made by the ominously humming well of satanic potential. The noise you can never hear unless you think to listen for it. By the time you notice you're listening, it's too late. You can't stop hearing it. I don't know about satanic potential. That's, I don't know, man. That doesn't seem very satanic to me. And once you're tuned into it, you begin noticing other sounds you can't be sure weren't there before, like the sounds of distant aircraft becoming less distant with each passing moment. Were those military planes cruising there before? And what about those? There's always aircraft probing your island. It's nothing new. But did your speech change anything? Are these ones closing in? Are these the ones that will finally end it all? You listen more closely. You can't tell. All you can hear is the damned silence, the humming in your head, going on and on since you made the mistake of noticing. The devil is humming a quiet little tune at you, almost like he's just been amused, and you doubt he's ever found much cause to express pleasure unless many, many people are about to die. I cannot get behind that. The devil's probably the most sympathetic figure in the Bible. Z? What the fuck did I just do? I'd say, Z, you probably just ended your own life and the lives of everyone on that island. But hey, what do I know? So, that's the end of Chapter 8. To everyone who's here, to everyone who watched this video, thank you very much for being here. You have no idea how much it means to me. Oh no. I'll be dealing with that later. Yeah, I don't know how much I can even really say about things. It's all fucked. I think I've completely given up on, trying to figure out whether or not this is something sincere or if this is, you know, if this is Andrew Hussey taking the piss out of extremism. it just flows back and it does a really good job of flowing back and forth between glorification and meta narrative or meta condemnation, like condemning what's going on through the meta narrative. It's God, he does such a good job of parodying the really shitty takes about American imperialism and shit that I just don't know if he actually believes it and he's like trying to proselytize here, or if he's actually making fun of it. And he's done. I can only assume that he's making fun of it because I remember how good he was at writing Cancri, the one of the characters for Homestuck, and it's doing that. Cancri was at least this good at being a display, at being a mirror for really shitty behavior in the social justice movement, as were a lot of the characters in Homestuck. At least a lot of the Beforans, because Before Us was kind of like a mirror, like a different kind of mirror of real Earth. So I think Hussey might just be really good at parroting these kinds of talking points and representing them realistically, but at their most extreme. But I cannot honestly be so sure. I just don't know. He's never laid out his beliefs or anything so plain. So all I can do is provide conjecture and theorization, and I'm not really good at that. So I guess that's just where we're gonna end this episode. Thank you all so much for dropping in. Make sure to hit like, subscribe, do whatever. If you enjoyed this video, I mean, you know, hit like, subscribe, etc. And if you enjoyed my take on Psycholonials so far, I can only hope that the last chapter is as good, if not better. Have a fantastic day.